booth, what we set up right here is the Adobe Education Learning Bar. And we've got a bunch of teachers here, and we're doing little mini lessons. So sit down, I'll teach you Photoshop Elements in 5 to 10 minutes. We can play with it. You can get your hands right on the software and experiment with it. Then I'm going to set you up with some resources online, Adobe TV, Adobe Education Exchange, so that after you leave here, you can continue to learn and integrate the software into your technology or into your classroom. I am a high school teacher in Seattle, Washington area. I'm actually in the Snoqualmie School District at Mount Si High School. I teach video, animation, web design, and computer graphics, all the fun stuff. All my classes integrate all the Adobe Master Collection very seamlessly. In my classes, the things that kids come away with is they're so much more comfortable with technology. They're comfortable with online learning. They're comfortable with communicating and collaborating online. It doesn't matter what the tool is. It really matters, you know, how they're doing it and if they can apply that when they get a job. So I'm a CTE teacher, so it's all about those career skills. It's, you know, how do I collaborate online? How do I communicate online? For example, I teach web design, how to make a website. We learn Dreamweaver, but we also learn all the cool Web 2.0 tools that are out there. Or in my digital imaging class, we're learning how to make flyers, how to make brochures, how to make business cards, how to make logos for companies. Now it's collaborate. It's all about, you know, sharing documents online, and I try to show them how I'm doing that. For example, I'm one teacher in probably 30 teachers in the Seattle region, and we don't have time to get together all the time. We're using Connect to connect virtually. We're using Acrobat.com to have a common document, common communications. And so my kids are doing that. When we do a project, a group project, they set up an online, you know, collaborative space. That's just how we work. And so when they get out into the industry, they're going to be able to say, hey, yeah, no problem. I can set up a collaborative space for our company. And in fact, I think a lot of the high school kids are coming out with skills that they can show to their businesses and be more valuable immediately because of that.
My particular focus is more on kind of design with the Creative Suite. Focus a lot on Illustrator and Photoshop the first year, and then move into presentation with Dreamweaver and InDesign the second year. Huge focus in Florida on the certifications, and we've kind of spearheaded that for the state. So that's been kind of our primary thing, is just really focusing on the certification. I think there's a lot of things the certification does, actually. The first thing is psychological. You know, it's one thing for a student to have a teacher pat him on the back and say, you did okay, and, you know, or even you did excellent. But the certification is a third-party, industry-recognized, you know, certificate that says to the student, you've done well. You know, you have met the, you know, the baseline for this career. And so there's just a ton of confidence, and that confidence inspires the students to take their design skills to the next step. And some people look at the ACA as the finishing line. To me, I tell the kids that's the starting point. That means that you're actually in the competition now. So then we start working on the portfolio and really developing, you know, their career skills and you know, their design skills. What we're doing at ISTE this year is we've set up this learning station for the Adobe education leaders to give personalized one-on-one sort of training sessions for anybody that wants to come by the booth and learn a little bit more about the Adobe products. So we're signing them up for the Ed Exchange so they can get some free curriculum and have some resources when they get back to their classroom and back to their hometown. And while they're here, we give them some one-on-one, kind of walk them through, introduce them to the site, introduce ourselves as education leaders, and a point of contact for somebody else in the classroom that can help them as they begin to kind of, you know, embark on their new endeavor with Adobe products in their classrooms.
The hot new thing from their perspective is portfolios. How do I allow a student to tell their story in as many ways as possible without having to stick everything into a ring binder? And what's really fascinating about that is that with devices like these proliferating, I mean, the kids come to school with them.
Adobe Voices serves middle to high school aged kids that that are in underserved communities or underserved districts. This is important because, first of all, it empowers educators to give back to their kids and engage them in their education. It helps them learn how to teach their kids multimedia skills, filmmaking, animation, but more importantly gives them more of an opportunity to engage their classroom with 21st century skills. There are about 20,000 kids that have been affected by Adobe Voices since it began in 2006. We're in about 42 different countries and we have about 300 sites worldwide. I mean, we do have case studies of kids that have gone through the program and talking about how it's impacted their idea of education, how it's helped them get more involved in their education and more excited about their professional careers. This is awesome primarily because it gives kids the opportunity to own their voice and talk about things that are important to them, things that could influence their lives and the lives of their communities. We teach them multimedia skills in filmmaking, animation, and graphic arts, but more importantly, they learn how to talk about issues that are important to them in their community. I'm a program manager for Adobe Voices. Adobe Voices is a program within the Adobe Foundation, and our programming is funded and supported by Adobe Systems. Adobe Voices is essentially a program for educators. We inspire educators to facilitate youth media projects where young people are creating media about issues that they're passionate about. And so we really are excited to be here at ISTE because we're really helping educators with the content. What are young people going to say and what are they going to study once they have all these incredible technology tools to work with. The young people that we work with create projects about gang violence, about their communities, about their relationships. I just saw a video about friendship. So some really tough social issues and then some of the more personal stories and issues that young people age 13 to 19 deal with, like how am I keeping my friends? Am I being nice to people? We're really encouraging our young people to really create positive messages out of all the things that they observe in their communities. We have a website called Adobe Voices Essentials, and within the website there's curriculum on how to facilitate this kind of storytelling. We have it in music video, animation, stop motion animation, documentary, portrait documentary. We have a ton of different types of genres. So we really want to share all these great rich resources with educators today. And then we also just want to inspire educators to really turn over to the young people and say, what do you care about? What are you passionate about?
And especially for the Macintosh, the fact that it's out for the Macintosh is fantastic. So now we have a program that I can edit video on the Mac, I can edit video on the PC, and it works exactly the same. The new content-aware brush in Elements 9 I think is fantastic. It's always fun when they come out with something new. What I'm also very excited to see about is how they're beginning to push online. We now have sharing with Photoshop Elements and Premiere Elements online. I showed Acrobat the ability now to comment and then send those comments online where someone else can also augment it is great. From the teacher-student pairing angle, the fact that a student can create a portfolio in Adobe Acrobat that could contain Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, and then move that into a portfolio in Acrobat that a parent can see using the free Acrobat Reader is fantastic. We're kind of bringing it from the classroom to the home, and we're bringing it to the Mac and the PC now, all with the Adobe Cloud, which is great.
So I lead the curriculum certification and professional development team at Adobe. We create an ecosystem of resources to help teachers use Adobe products effectively to support teaching and learning. And I'm here really to meet with educators, to talk to them about some of the work that we do, to share the exciting work we're doing with the Adobe Exchange, and to meet with some of my colleagues in the field to learn about the work they're doing as well. Adobe certification programs are run with our partner Certiport. We've worked with them to develop some really interesting exams that provide students an opportunity to demonstrate their skills in using digital communication tools. We've written an extensive curriculum that then supports that effort and ensures that students are really well prepared. We've got lots of ways in which we're reaching out to educators. I think the Adobe Education Exchange is one really exciting way in which we're communicating the various offerings that we have. We've got all sorts of information on our website. We come to conferences. We reach out to teachers in as many ways as we can to ensure that folks have the knowledge that they need to do their work. We've got some of our Adobe education leaders are from higher education, and they demonstrate their best practices and share their work on our Adobe Education Exchange. In higher education, we're also working on some projects around digital publishing that we're really looking forward to seeing some of the results of that work. The Adobe Education Exchange is a great place for educators to come and learn about Adobe products and how to use them in their classrooms. It's a great place to collaborate, to get feedback from peers, and to see some of the really exciting student work that's been produced using Adobe products. It's a great place to go if you're interested in teaching your students digital communication skills and helping them be prepared for the 21st century. All of our resources are available under a Creative Commons license, so teachers can use them for free with attribution. We have a wide variety of resources in the exchange. Some are a full curriculum. For example, we have one on digital video that's a full curriculum. You can break it up and use different pieces of it. So we've got these huge pieces, and then also there are any number of small, quick tips for teaching and learning. There's some samples of student work. There's a huge variety of resources. And I think the most exciting thing is just to begin to explore and see the kinds of things that you can find. Teachers rate them, and so you can get a sense of what's most popular, the kinds of things that people view most often. So it's a vibrant space where the really great stuff rises to the top.